1 second, let me just check. Yeah, all of you have joined, right? Okay, fine. Yeah, today we'll explore the time intelligence related function. The last session we discussed about what is time intelligence. Time intelligence is one of the critical business intelligence methodology, so using which the analyst can determine the performance of the KPIs over a set period of time. Okay. And weeks, months, quarters, or even years can be included in that time period. Supposing a common question, let's say a sales department manager, right? He is asking a question like, how are our sales compared to the previous year? Okay. The reason why he is asking is he wants to compare the current year sale with previous year sales. If the sales have declined compared to the previous year, or the current year sales, if you see any dip in sales compared to the last year, right? The current year sales, they go ahead and investigate the reason behind the dip in the sales of this year. Okay. Okay, so the thing is, right, the time intelligence, as part of time intelligence, a lot of user-defined functions are there, using which we can create reports like total, the month to date, quarter to date, year to date, and even fiscal year to date also we can create the reports. So these reports can enable them to understand the trends and patterns in the data. Okay. Okay. Business use the cumulative time-based calculations. I hope all of you remember how to compute the cumulative total also, right? The businesses use cumulative time-based calculation, even month to date and quarter to date is a kind of a cumulative one. The year to date, month to date, quarter to date, these are referred to as YTD, MTD, QTD in common. So these measures are helpful for trend analysis or comparing sales and financial results. With these metrics, we can evaluate the business performance on the go. Okay. The time intelligence functions are the go-to expressions for the Power BI developer. It helps us to measure patterns in business metrics over time, year on year, quarter on quarter. You want to compare week on week also, we can do the comparison. Okay. So now let us understand what exactly month to date. Already I discussed I will repeat it in this for the sake of continuation. The month to date is the period starting from the beginning of the current month up until now. Supposing, today is 17th November. If somebody is asking, let's see if your manager asking you, can you tell me the month to date sales of November, right? So which means starting from 1st November to until yesterday. Okay, because today is not yet over, right? So the thing is, right, so the month to date covers the data from the 1st November to until 16th November, because today is not yet over, because business operate across the globe, right? So we cannot take into consideration today's. Don't think about single retail shop, Walmart and other people, right? They have the business across the globe with different time zones. Now it is for us, it is a night time, 9 p.m., whereas in USA, it is a morning time, right? So today only for them, it is a 17th, right? So it is Thursday for them, Thursday morning for them. So today we are not going to take into account Instead, 1st November to until 16th November is called as your month to date. Similarly, the quarter to date stands for, in the case of quarter to date, if somebody is asking, can you give me the quarter to date sales? So we are in the last quarter of this year, right? 4th quarter. So in this case, so starting from the beginning of this quarter, which means October 1st to until yesterday, right? Until yesterday, whatever the sales happened, this is what they want to see it. And year to date, okay, beginning of the current year up to but not including today. That is what year to date. Okay. And when it comes to the companies, right, they go by the financial year, which is nothing but the fiscal year, not by a calendar year. Okay, so got it. So that is what a month to date is all about, starting from the beginning of the current month up until now, but not including today's date. That is what your month to date. And if you look at this one, so this is the data set. Look at only this one, the date column here. 1 second, let me just, I often forget this. So these are this is a date column, and the order date or something like that. And this is your year to date, quarter date, month date. They want to see a report, something like the orders placed, and what is the year to date on 14th January, and what is the quarter to date and month to date. If you see here in this case, right, all the values are same. All these three values are same if you look at these rows. But when you look at here, for example, after January, right, the every month beginning, what happens is the value will get reset. But whereas if you see for the January data, it is doing the cumulative total, right? So running total. So January 13, how many number of orders we received? This one may be, right, the previous month data or something like that. 697 plus 70 is 767. Okay, and similarly 767 plus 99 is your 866, 860 plus 36. So the month to date, for example, if somebody is asking you what is the month to date sales on 23rd January, you need to say it is going, sorry, the orders placed. How many number of orders placed month to date? Can you give me the month to date of the orders placed? Let's say if somebody is asking on 23rd January, you can say it is 1150. Okay. And but here, yeah, let's say in this case we are on 8th Feb, right? You can tell the month to date is starting from beginning of this month. For January month, right? If at any for the January month, for any given day, if you want to see the month to date, that is also possible. For example, 20th Jan 2013, can you give me the month to date? Then you can consider this value because it happened, past has happened. Supposing somebody is asking you 8th February, what is the month to date sales? Then 1st Feb to 7th Feb, which is nothing but this value, the cumulative total. So it is doing the running total for up to the end of this month. For every month beginning, this value get reset in the case of month to date. Got it? Same thing is applicable in the case of quarter to date. So in the case of calendar year, starting from 1st Jan to up until today, but sorry, up until right, so but up until now, but not including the current day or current day, right? That is what your quarter to date. In simple term, the month to date, when you use a month to date, what happens is it is doing the running total. Okay, every month beginning, the value will get reset. The cumulative value will get reset. Similarly, for every quarter, new quarter, the value will get reset. Every new year, the value will get reset, like month to date. Got it? Anyhow, I'll show you in the Power BI desktop, don't worry. Okay, the month to date, right? These are the month to date here. These are helpful. It's all useful to help the management to identify trends and predict future requirements or behavior. Okay, now you understood what is month to date, year to date, quarter to date, and what is the advantage of creating the reports of like this. Okay, basically you wanted to do something like for like analysis. This year September, what is the sales? I want to compare the previous year same month, what is the sales, like for like analysis. Okay, year on year sales, they call it the year on year sales, month on month sales, quarter on quarter sales, sometimes week on week sales also we do it. The next one is the fiscal year to date. The fiscal year to date is a period starting from the beginning of the first day of the current fiscal year. What is the first day of the current fiscal year? April 1st. And ending on the last day of the fiscal quarter. This is nothing but March 31st. And for example, this is the function total YTD. If you want to find out if you want to compute the month to date sales, you have something called total MTD function is available. Similarly, total YTD, total QTD. If you want to find out the quarter to date, total QTD. And if you want to find out the year to date, total YTD is available. The first argument is your expression and second argument is your dates and filter. Don't worry, I'll show you in Power BI desktop everything. So look here, in this case, the expression is sum of sales amount. This is the expression, and followed by this, you have the date column from your order date, and then this is your fiscal year, right? So you need to specify month, date format. This is nothing but if you want to find out the fiscal year today, in India, the fiscal year ends by 31st March. Okay, if you specify like this, what will happen is it will do the every fiscal year, every new fiscal year, the value will be reset. Instead of every year, right? Every new year, for example, 2013 and 2014. So even if it, even if we enter into 2014 from 2013, the value will not get reset in the case of fiscal year to date. Got it? So every new fiscal year or every first day of the fiscal year, this is the correct term. Okay, every first day of the fiscal year, the value will be reset. Which value? The cumulative total. Okay, look here 697 plus 70, 70 plus 99, sorry, 767 plus 97. So it is doing the running total, which is nothing but the cumulative total. And when the next month begins, automatically it gets reset. Similarly, in the case of year to date, quarter to date, right? So every new quarter, the first day of every new quarter, the value will be reset. First day of every year, this value will get reset. In the case of calendar year, if it is a fiscal year, the first day of your new fiscal year, right? In that case, this value will get reset. That's it, guys. It's very simple one. So if you work with the time intelligence tool, so these are the advantages, right? So these are the tools. We call it a tool, right? Vital tools to help you identify trends and predict future behavior, requirements or issues. Okay, in case of any issues you find it, then you can take a course correction then and there. The advantage of creating a report or generating a report which has MTD, QTD, and YTD and all. If you want to use the time intelligence function, you have to use a dedicated date table. So I have shown you how to create a date table in couple of sessions, right, in the past. So what are the prerequisites for creating a date table? Why we need to have a separate date table? In the case of time intelligence function, if you want to use a time intelligence function, right, date table is mandatory. Okay, so this is very much important. And also, even if you want to use the date related, if you want to perform any slicing and dicing based on the month, year, quarter, right, your existing data, in that kind of situation also, the date table plays an important role. But Power BI, behind the scene, it creates the date table automatically. But we can disable it. Okay, we don't want the Power BI to create the date tables automatically on our behalf behind the scene. Because let's say I'm using 10 or 15 tables, and each table, let's say I'm having 2 or 3 date columns. For each date column, it creates a separate date table, which is a overhead. It creates so many date tables. We don't want so many date tables to be created. Okay. Okay, now the question is, okay, I'm going to create a separate date table. But I have a date column is available, order date, ship date, everything is available in my table itself. Still, why should I use a date table. I'm going to disable my automatic date table. Fine. The second thing is already I have a date column in my table. So why should I still need a date table? To answer to this question, without a date table, it cannot do the filtering. Okay, you cannot do the filtering. See, for example, in this case, 2019, what is the sales if you want to see it? But in this case, if you see here, the purchase amount, right? All the values are repeating it here. It is not doing the filtering correctly. Okay, so you need to have a date table. When you have a date table, see if you want the reports to be, if you want your Power BI desktop to filter this one also, right? You need to create two separate reports. One is your year with sales amount and other one year with purchase amount. Okay, purchase. Only then you can, you can create a split up for the purchase and sales year wise. Okay. If I want these two columns to be available in a single visual, it is possible, but it is not doing the filtering. Okay. So hence we need to have a date table. After creating the date table, and you can see that the date column, in this case the year, right? So the date column filters this column and this column as well. It gives us the breakdown of the purchase and sales amount year wise correctly. Okay, so date table is very much important. What are the prerequisites for creating a date table? The date column should not have any duplicates, and it should have the sequence of values starting from the beginning to till the end. It should have the sequence of values available in your date column, whether you have the sales happen on a specific day or not. It should have the sequence of the dates to be stored in that calendar table or date table. You might be saying that Saturday, Sunday, we don't open the store, we close the door. But still, in your date table, that Saturday and Sunday related date should also be there. Okay, that is one of the prerequisites. While you create the date table, you need to make sure that you are having the start and end date so beginning from the start date to till the end date. What all the dates are there, you need to store it. There should not be any duplicate. There should not be any gap. That's it. And the date column is supposed to be a date data type. Okay, now you are all set. You have created a date table. Okay, using a calendar function. How you can create a date table? You can use a calendar table, and you have something calendar auto also. And the last session I have shown you how to create the calendar auto. And also we have, while exploring the add columns function, I have shown you how to use the calendar auto also. So end of the day, what we are doing is in the case of calendar or calendar auto, so we specify the start date as something like this: minimum of the invoice date and maximum of the invoice date. So what is the maximum? Recent invoice. So what is the recent invoice today? You raised an invoice just a while back. That is what your recent invoice date. And this is the one, the day when you started, the very first day when you started your business, that day you have raised the invoice, right? That day's invoice date will be, captured. The start invoice date and the end invoice date. You need to specify. For that, what will use minimum and maximum. Okay, this is a dynamic way of creating your date table. So that, assume that if you specify the value like this, if you specify the value itself like this, what will happen is, let's say, after, let's say 2020, 15th Jan 2020. Also, if you want to take a report, what will happen is you will not find the starting from 1st Jan 2022, the 19 Jan 2020, you will not be able to, you will not have any data in the calendar table. Hence, it will not do the filtering for those specific duration. Hence, it is not a good idea to do the hard coding like this. What do you mean by hard coding? Specifying the value directly here. It's not the preferred one. Instead, you can use this. So this is the right way of doing it, min and max. Okay, let's say you started your business on 2016, 1st January. What will happen is when you give the invoice date, so this value is stored in this column, right? So minimum of invoice date column is the first day. The maximum is the last day, okay? Okay, in order for the time intelligence to work properly, so you need to create the relationship correctly. Okay, so for example, in this table, I have the invoice date, and apart from this, I have delivery date also. And but whereas in the case of date dimension, I have only one date column. You need to make sure that which column in sales table you want to do a filtering it. Okay, so in this case, date and invoice date, I want to use it. So select this column and select this column and then click on OK, right? Only, right? So that a link will get created, a relationship will get created between these two tables based on the date column. So these are the functions that are available as part of time intelligence function. If you wanted to see the first day of the year, you can use this command or the function. Okay, if you want to find out the date of year, you can use this function. Days remaining in all these functions, what you do is you can go to Microsoft site and you can start practice it. The host of functions or time intelligence function, date add, date add, we are going to take a look at it. Dates between date in period. So dates in period I've explained to you as part of rolling average. Okay, and month to date, these are the things we are going to look at it. End of quarter, if you want to extract the end of the quarter from the given date, you don't have to write any program. Okay, simply you can use this function, specify the date for which you want to find out the end of the quarter date. Okay, so it will give you automatically the end of the quarter thing. Okay, and then these are the function, last date, previous day, everything is available. You can explore each and everything, but try to be smart. Don't spend too much of time on everything. Okay, even in the case of real times, what we do is, right, we know all the popular and most frequently used date functions. In case any specific requirement which is very odd, that kind of situation, for example, you want to extract the first day, okay, first day or last date from your given date, next day. So in that kind of situation, you can go and explore the syntax and then you can practice it. Okay. And using M language also in Power Query Editor, we can create the date table. So a couple of my students, when they attended the interview, they asked them, so how to create, how did you create a date table? Did you use calendar or calendar auto, or did you use Power Query M language? You can tell them I'm pretty much comfortable with DAX. I've used DAX function. Okay, but still they will ask you can you tell me the functions that you used it in Power Query? Okay, the query language, the M language. What are the function that you use? You can say table dot from list, table dot rename columns. It's a very easier thing, right? Table dot rename columns, table dot replace value. So those kind of things you can tell them. Okay. Now let's move ahead with understanding how to implement the month to date and quarter to date, okay, and year to date in Power BI Desktop. Enough theory. So total MTD, total YTD, total QTD. The first argument is your expression. Second argument is your the date column from your date table. I just go here, time intelligence. Okay, here I just show you directly here. The interest of time, I just created everything upfront. And we will create it separate because I'm using a slicer. I need to create it separately. Only then you should be able to understand it, clearly. If I show everything they previously did it, you will not be able to understand. There are certain things you should be able to understand, but when it comes to this kind of thing, right, we will create a separate thing now here. So what I will do is I just go ahead and create a table. I just create a table here. So here what I do is, in this case, I have used, I'm going to use the month prefix. Here I have created a separate table. Okay, so this one I have used it for different purpose. Okay, look here. In this case, I'm going to use the month prefix is the right. Yeah, so I just drop this one here. And then the next one is the sales value. I just use not this one, and I'm going to use this one because this has a lot of data in it. Many years data is there. See, once you understand the funda, it is same. Even if you work with the claims data, or even if you work with any bank related data, it's all same. Okay. Only thing is you need to understand what is month to date, quarter to date, year to date. That's all. Next, what I do is I just drop the day column from this one. I just drop it directly here. So you have the day column here, right? So not this one. Okay, let me do one thing. I think it is doing some here. I just make it don't summarize. Okay. And I just move this up here so that month along with the month, you can see the day here. Okay. And if you think, this is, kind of not making any sense. And if you want to combine these two things, you can go ahead and do it. For example, I just selected this table and then I just go to the data view. And here what I am going to do is I'm going to sales W04 calendar. Here I just selected it. Here what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new column. If I say month day prefix. So here month prefix already we created it. Sorry, here what we will do is month prefix. Look here. And then how do I concatenate? How do I concatenate this one? Ampersand, double quote. And then what I do is I will use ampersand. Okay. One column to another column. If you want to combine it, you need to use ampersand. Okay. Start with ampersand, end with ampersand. And the next one is the day column. Okay. The day column, I'm going to look here. This is the one. Okay. So I want to combine this column and this column together. Okay. I just press enter. Look here, Jan tone, right? So in that case, it will be easier to interpret. Instead of looking at two different columns, what I do is I just kick them out and I just keep month day prefix here. April 1, 10, 13 or something like that, right? So if you see here, the sales, overall sales, we can see it here. Okay, so next thing is I'm going to use a total month to date function. And here I just go to the modeling tab here and click on the new measure. Here I just say month to date sales. For example, here I just say measure 2 or something like that, because this is a working copy and so many other batches I have given this, created the measure here. Total, I just say total MTD. Okay, here the first argument is your expression. What is your expression? Sum of, or we can say one thing, total sales. Did I create this total sales? Yeah, this is the total sales. This is the measure already. We created it, which is nothing but sum of sales. Okay, sum of sales, and comma, the next argument is your, and here what I do is sales W04 calendar date. I'm going to use it. Okay, and this is what I'm going to use it. Dates and filter. Here I'm not using any filter. I just press enter. And then I'm going to select this one. So now we don't have any error. And I just close this one. Let's see what is happening here. I just selected it here. Look here, month to date sales, we got it, right? Month to date sales, it is displaying it, but it is not, it is confusing, right? So what we will do is, I just go to the data view, and then see, this is important. The interview, they'll ask you this question also. If you see here in the report, it starts from Feb, and it goes by the some alphabetic, right? The sorting is happened based on the alphabet. What I do is I just go to the data view and I click on the monthly prefix. Listen very carefully. I selected this one, and then I just go here, sort by column. And here what I do is I just sort this by month. Okay. Month is a number. Select this one and then sort this by month. Okay, I've done this. Look here. Now let us go here. And okay, still it is not doing, it is not much helpful. One second, let me see. Yeah, so in that case of situations, we have to use month prefix only. Okay, so what I will do is, or else what, one second, I just use this one, right? Month day prefix. Here it shows correctly. Okay, yeah, Jan 1, Jan 2, Jan 3. It is not doing correctly. So what we will do is, better we will rely on the older thing. Okay, month prefix. I just put it here. When I tried this long back, anyhow, we will use the date column here, day also. Okay, separately we'll have it. And see, day is the moment when I drop the day here, it is showing something 1984, right? It should be 1, 2, 3, Jan 1st, Jan February 3rd, March, something like that. The moment when you drop it, what will happen is, since it's a numeric column, it does the aggregation. Okay. And for this, you need to go explicitly to the, here, click on the down arrow and don't summarize. Okay. So now it is showing correctly. Jan 1, 2, 3, it's all in the proper order, right? It's all in the proper order. And okay, fine. It's correctly doing it. Okay, fine. So now January 1, what is the sales? 12,000. And it shows something 3,090 and 2 something, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a slicer for month and year. And this is the one, and other one is for the year. Our date table is this one, okay? Remember, okay, this is not a sales table, it's a calendar table, date table, okay? Here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the year first. And then I make it, I just click on this, I make it list option. And here what I do is, here I'm going to say month prefix. Sorry, not month. Yeah, month prefix, correct. So for year, as year, you create a separate slicer. Month, you create a separate slicer. Good. The next step is 2011 is, I just selected the first year. Okay. And then if you see here now, it is doing correctly, right? January 1st, 528. The month to date on the Jan 1st is this one. And the Jan 2nd, this is the sales happen. So 528 plus 314, 842. And 842 plus 3998, 4,840. 4,840, this one. So likewise, it is doing the running total. The month to date gives me the running total. At any given day, if I wanted to see the month to day sales, it is possible. So on January 10th, what is the sales and what is the month to date sales? If they want to see it, you can see it here. And then if you see it here, it is doing the running total or cumulative total continuously. But at one point in time here, look here, in this case, it's a month to date, right? So when the new month starts, this value got reset. Whatever the sales happen on Feb 1st, the same value got displayed here. Instead of adding this value with the previous month cumulative total, it is resetting it because it is a month to date sales. Pretty simple, that's all. And if you see here March, the same thing is happening. Feb to Feb, right? It is doing the cumulative total. And if you see the sales and cumulative sales, right? It's not same. But here, if you see the sales and cumulative sales, both of them are same because this is the first day of the new month. In this case, the new month is March month. Every new month beginning, this value will get reset, which then the month to date sales. The month to date sales and sales column, both value will be same. In other words, okay. This is what month to date sales is all about. It's pretty simple, right? And the next one is, next what we'll do is we'll do the same thing for the quarter to date. Okay, I'm going to create another measure called quarter to date. I just click on the modeling, click on new measure. Total QTD here. So you can give the name, right? Meaningful name, not like this one. Okay, just for your example sake, for demonstration purpose, I'm using it. In real time, you're not supposed to use M2, M1 and all. Okay, use meaningful total QTD sales, something like that. Okay, here what we do is total QTD. And here what I'm going to do is I'm going to same thing. Okay, total sales. This is the measure already we created. What this measure has in it? Sum of sales amount. In the we create a separate measure called total sales. When you click on the total sales here, what will happen is inside you will find sum of sales. Okay. Instead of using sum of sales, this variable is already holding the sum of sales value in it. Hence, we are simply using it. Okay, the measure. You roughly speaking, that is what we are doing it here. And here, what I'm going to do, the next one is the date, right? And the sales W0. This is my calendar table. Date column. That's it. It's very simple, right? So what I am doing is I'm not going to disturb this one. This is my month to date. And I just create another table here. In this table, I'm going to use start with an year. From here, I just, and here again, it shows it is adding all each year's value. Look, how many years of data we have it in our data set? Look at here, in this measure, we can say 2011 to 4 years only, right? It is adding 2011 plus 2012, 13 plus 2014. It is not supposed to do that way because why it is doing it? Because year is a number data type. This column is a number data type. For any number data type, Power BI does the total behind the scene by default. We want to override the default behavior to say, hey, don't sum all the values in the year column. It doesn't make any sense. So what we are doing is you just click on the down arrow here and then click on don't summarize. Okay, 2011 only display because we selected 2011. If I unselect it here by click on this eraser icon, yeah, so here 2011. So now what I do is I just drag and drop the month prefix. Okay, and for the sake of reference, and already we created the empty date. I just use the empty date also, and what the name I gave it. This is the name. Look here, this is the measure name. Okay, fine. And the next one is the QTD. I have created the QTD measure, QTD, and here we can see the QTD sales. You just drop it here. And if I select the year, first year, 2011, what is happening is in Jan 2011 for this month, and the total sales is this one. And then in the case of cumulative, the quarter to date sales. But if you see the month to date sales, it gives me total sales happened on Jan 2011. In 2011 January, how much total sales we made? 86,740. Quarter to date, also the same thing, okay? And because before this, we don't have any data. We started our business on 2011 only. Hence, we don't have any other data prior to this. Hence, it simply put this value here. And then in the February month, this is what the sales we made. So what happens is in the case of quarter to date sales, it is adding these two values. So roughly how much? You 1.63, right? 1,63,000. And then the next month, what happens? 2,93,000. And what happens is when it comes to April month, look here, this value got reset. Instead of adding each month sales, right, and instead of computing cumulative sales, when it comes to the new quarter, it is resetting the value. And again, 1 lakh plus 1,30,000, 2,31,000 and odd, and 2,31,000 plus this one, 4,21,000. And if you see here on July, in the third quarter, the month to date sales as well as Q sales same. So with this, what you understood, this is my calendar date. This quarter to date is something like my calendar to date, quarter to date. So calendar, this quarter to date is based on the calendar. Okay, calendar date is starting from January 1st to 31st December. We all know very well. But in USA, that is the fiscal year, January 1st to December 31st. Okay, the next one is year to date. Don't worry, we'll take a look at the fiscal year also. In this case, I'm going to create another measure. Like I said, this M2 handle not required. Okay. Here what I'm going to do is I'm going to say total year to date. Okay, for a change, I'm going to use sum of the sales underscore W04. Look here, since I selected here, it got dropped here. And if you see here, we can see the every quarter beginning, April, I just increase the font size. You might be finding it a little bit inconvenient with this font size. So I just increase the font size for this one, and even for this one also, I'm going to increase the font size. I hope all of you can see it, right? Now I'm going to enable it, the bold here. Yeah. And let me just go and the text also we will increase it. And then bold. Now it is pretty clear. And if you see here, still the same thing, right? The every quarter beginning, this value get reset. And July, the new quarter begins. And October, the new quarter begins. The value is getting reset for each quarter. And when you look at this one, total QTD sales. No, not that one. You create year to date, right? Okay. Total year to date sales empty. Yeah, this is the one I should have selected this one, and I'm going to unselect this one. Look here. But in the case of total year to date sales, it is doing the cumulative total till the year end. And if you see the every quarter beginning, right? April, the new quarter begins. On that day, the quarter to date sales got reset, whereas the year to date sales was not reset. Whenever a new year starts, only then the value will get reset in the case of total year to date. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select another year, 2012. Look here, 2012. When you see a 2011, up until this, we can say 20 lakh 12,000, right? So for the entire Jan, 20 lakh 12,000. When it comes to new year, the 2012 Jan, on that month, so this is the total sales we made. Quarter to date is also same, year to date sales also same. Got it? All these three values are same. Whenever a new year begins, all these three values will be same. There is no running total here. All these three values will get reset. Okay, now what we will do is we'll work with the fiscal year to date. Your manager says, hey, we don't need the calendar year to date. This is our calendar year to date, and he wants the fiscal year to date. I'm going to reuse the same thing here. Okay, month to date, fiscal year to date. So this is the one. Yeah, this is the format. In the case of QTD, MTD, and year to date, so far we have used only these two columns, right? So now we are going to use an additional argument here. So here what we are going to say is, in India, the fiscal year ends by 31st March. That's it. So what I am going to do is I'm going to use this one, but what I do is here the calendar table is different. I just simply copy this one. In the real-time scenario, they want you to be pretty, smart. Wherever it is required, you can reuse the existing code. Don't type everything from the beginning. Look here, but you need to be very clear when you copy, reuse the code, right? You need to make sure that where you need to make change. So in this case, I'm using a different date table. My date table name is sales W04 and calendar, right? So, and look here, unnecessarily one more date is coming. That's all. And then click on this one or press enter. Okay, this is already used here. Okay, for the previous batch, I used it. I just say, one here. This is look here on the right side. This one got created. Next to that, if you click on it, you don't have to drag and drop it. If you click on it, this one will get dropped automatically here. Okay, I did not select this visual, right? Okay, here and then select this visual and then you click on it. It will take some time to display it. Look here. This is my fiscal year to date. And if you see here, Jan, Feb, March. Okay, here what I do is for the sake of convenience. Okay, we will have to use 2 years. Okay, fine. So here what happens is Jan, Feb, March, you can see that it is doing the cumulative total. And then the April month, look here in the April month, what happened? In the calendar year to date, it is doing the cumulative total till the 2011 year end. But in this case, what happened? It got reset because we have specified March 31st is the end of the fiscal year or the financial year. Our financial year starts the financial year starts by April. That is what indirectly we mentioned it. April month, look here, it got reset. And then it goes on and on. Okay, so it does the cumulative total. And then next March, we will see 2012 March till the March 2012, it is doing the cumulative total. When it comes to April 2012, this value got reset. So hope you understood. It's pretty simple, right? Only thing is you need to remember these functions and the arguments, especially for this one, you need to remember it. That's all. Got it? So the next one is the cumulative sales. I just move this up. Make sure that you are selecting the values in the slicer. Start with the first year and then second year. Okay. Don't unselect everything. Okay. When you unselect it, you will get confused. But in this case, it is okay. All the 4 years will get, when you unselected, all the years, all the month will get selected. That is fine. But there are situations where when you use month to date and all, you will get confused. Look here, in this case of month to date, what happened here? The January 1st, 12,561. Month to date shows something 3090. Right? It'll get confused. Okay. Now, if I select 2011, what happened? It is giving me the proper running total, everything, right? Now I want you to, I will share today without fail, I'll share this one, okay? I want you to tell me, do the analysis and tell me why we are getting month date is 3090 here. Okay. And January 1st. Okay. And January 2, why we are getting this value? What is this value? What is this value? So this one in the January 1st, 12,561, dollar, sales happen, total sales. So what does it says here? On January 1st, 2011, 12, 13, 14, all these 4 years, January 1st, what is the total sales? And what is something wrong? It shows something different here, right? So what is 3090? I want you to analyze this one and then come back with an answer without fail for this. Okay. And the next, see, the simple is you just go here, go to the data view, and then what you do is here, go to the data set sales W04. This is the data set. And then if you go here, we have used the order date, right? Yes, order date using which I created the relationship. And here, if you go and, so this is a tip I'm going to give. The real-time scenario, developing the report, designing the dashboard is not only your responsibility, testing is very much important. And order date is something like, yeah, I'm going to unselect. I'm going to select only the Jan 2011 and Jan 2012. Here we don't have any sales on Jan 1st, 2012. Okay, and Jan and 2013, do we have any sales here? Here you can go down and see, or best thing you can go to the Power Query editor, create a separate year. And then you can say, look here, 2013 January sales happened. And 2014 Jan, did we make any sales here? No, 2014, we don't have anything, right? I just click on OK here. And then we can see that here, the sales column, these are the values we can see it, right? So if I select it, it is not, it shows, so this is not much helpful, right? So if you see here, right, these are the values. Ideally, I should have gone to the, see, when you select something here, like Excel, it should show the total also here. It shows only the distinct values. This is something ridiculous. Or else what I'm going to do is, yeah, the same thing we can do it there itself, right? Why do I need to do it here? Order date, look here. So you can create another slicer there itself. Create another slicer for order date. There's another way of testing it out. The other way of doing it is you can go to your Power Query, create, extract the year separately, a month separately, you can do it. Okay, and here, this is the one. And we are using this calendar table. And but here, yeah, this is another problem, right? We cannot use the date here as it is. Okay, here between 2011 to 2014. Okay, and what is the sales? And if I slide this, it changes. Now the question is, why are we getting 3090 MTD sales? It's same, right? But if I select only the 2011 here, it is doing the correct thing. But what you do is you just unselect it and then, yes, now I got it. So tell me why we are getting this one. Okay, 3090, right? But here the January 1st is all the 2 years put together, what is it? But month to date shows something else, right? You need to justify why we are getting this one. This is what the difference between the classroom training and other training. Okay, you need to analyze and come back. I will tell you in the next session tomorrow also we are going to have the session. Okay, tomorrow and Tuesday and Thursday, next Tuesday and Thursday, we are going to cover everything and finish it off. Okay, fine. So it is already 10 o'clock. So you understood how to create month to date, quarter to date, year to date, and fiscal year to date. And the next one is the cumulative sales. Cumulative sales, as part of when I use the all selected function, I explained you. Not only all selected, even you can use the all function for the cumulative total. So in this case, what happened? I'm using a calculate function. The first argument is your expression, sum of total sales. I want to find out. Okay. So what here the management want is, Soumya answered for the think of 4 years of Jan for sales amount. That is what the sales, right? I'm asking about month to date. Soumya, you're correct. The sales column, it shows 4 years of Jan first sales. That is correct. But what about the month to date? Month to date shows some other value, right? Okay. Here in this case, the calculate. Don't worry. You just think about it. I will explain into more. Look here. I just copy paste this one. See, this is for other batch. I explained it. Okay. But in our batch, I'm using a different calendar table. That's the reason why I'm going to create another measure. In that measure, I will have to specify the calendar table, which I use it in today's session for this demo. And here, instead of calendar date, what I do is sales W04. This is the one I'm using it. Okay, Satya sent a WhatsApp message saying that select particular and select sales column. Yeah, that's correct, right? So get the answer. So here we will go back to that once again. Once again. Now I just do one thing. Sales W04. See, my question to you is, Satya. So first of all, why are we getting that value. What is the justification for the sales W04? This name is already there. Okay, here I am going to reuse the same measure. So here how it works, how this cumulative. So in the interview they'll ask you, my students were asked by this question. So in this case, what happened? We are using a calculate function to compute the cumulative total. Cumulative total is irrespective of the quarter to date, month to date, year to date. It gives you the running total for the entire record. Okay, whatever the years that you selected, right? It will give you this one. Okay, and here what happens here is I'm using a calculate function to compute the cumulative total. Here I'm using a filter function. The filter function, what I'm doing is take the first date from my calendar table and then till the end of the date column. Take the first date and then till the end of the date, range of values, right? Starting from this to till this end, whatever the sales values are there, you sum it. That's it, guys. And then all I have used is remove the filter on the date column so that it will not give the split up. Instead, it will simply ignore the filter, all the filters. Okay, you remember, right? All function, internal, external, both the filters, the slicer, internal filters also it ignores, and then it gives you the running total. So that is the idea of this cumulative total. Look here, I just go and drop this one here. And here, for you people to understand what I do, 2011 and 2012, if you see here, the year to date, when will it get reset? Q to date, when will it get reset? Month to date, when will every month beginning, the month to date value will get reset. Every first day of the new quarter, every first day of the year, and every first day of the calendar, the fiscal year, the value will get reset, right? Otherwise, it will do the running total. It gives us the running total. In the case of cumulative, look here, and if you see here, this one got reset. In the case of fiscal year to date, it is same as a year to date, 521. But in the case of year to date, let's compare the year to date with cumulative. And if you see December 2011, the year to date is 20 lakh 12,000. Here also 20 lakh 22,000. But new year for this year, 2012 Jan, is adding this value with the 2012 Jan's sales value. So 1 lakh 21 plus 20 lakh is 21 lakh 33,000. It is doing the running total for all the year, whatever the year that you selected it. Okay, all the year in the sense, what are the year that you selected, or whatever the month you selected along with the year, that one will get selected. Okay. So now you understood month to date, year to date, quarter date, and fiscal quarter date, all these things, right? Fine. So next I will jump into another time intelligence functions called, look here, I put everything here. Now you are familiar with this thing, right? How to create the total YTD, everything. So with this knowledge, whatever you gain now, I just go ahead and do the same thing. Look here, I just selected this table, the same thing, year and month, I just selected it here. I just, yeah, let it be there. Okay, year and month, and the next one is the sales. Parallel period, and 1 second. Today we have some release at office. Sorry, guys. It's a very urgent thing. Okay. Look here, the same thing. Sales. See, first 3 columns are same. I just dragged and dropped the sales column, year, month, everything. Okay, fine. The next one is I have used the parallel period. We have something called parallel period. Look here, this is the function, parallel period function. The interview, they'll ask you the difference between parallel period same. You want to compare the current year sales with previous year sales. Okay. So in that kind of situation, you can go for parallel period. Okay, so here what I did, I have created a measure by the name of parallel period 11 month. Look here, not 11 month. Okay, I just give some meaningful name. Not this one, sorry. I need to type it here. Parallel period, and here 11, right? So what I do is I'll give some meaningful name, parallel period by month. Here what I do is I just give the month here. Even in this case, I made a mistake. Now it is correct. Month, we'll see what is happening here. Done. Parallel period by month. So what happened here in 2011 January, this is the total sales we made. In February, we made this one. I want to compare the previous month of 2011 Jan with February. Look at this one. See, this value comes down here. Okay, and this value comes down here so that you can compare side by side. You understood or not? 86740 is the Jan 2011 and Feb 2011. This is the sales. And along with this, if you want to compare February month sales with January sales, it is a little bit difficult, right? If you have to eyeball from here to here. Instead, if you display it side by side, it will be easier. That is the advantage of the parallel period function. And you can do for year also. Okay, parallel period for year also you can do it. So that is what I did it here. In this case, I just dragged and dropped the year column. I just click on the cross so that once you select the visual, you will get to know what all the things that I used it right on the right side. It got highlighted with the tick mark. And here I simply drop the sales column from the sales underscore W04 table. I just, so if I keep the cursor over, you should be able to understand, right? Say, this is the date table, date dimension. Here, I just brought it from this table. I just dropped it here. And then second column, sales. Sales comes from sales W04 table. And parallel period by month. Okay, this is the one. Look here, I made a change to the existing measure. But in this case, we are comparing the year. So what we need to do is, see, I reuse the code. But the effect of the reusing the code, you understood, right? In this case, we want to use the year. I will explain you first what is parallel period function is all about, okay? So that you'll be able to understand. The syntax for this one is this one. Not this one. Why it is this one also? Here I just select a parallel period and parallel period, what is parallel period month? Yeah, this is the one I used it. Look here, I'm going to press Control A and Control C and I copy paste this and then I just go to the modeling and new measure. You can compare current month with previous month and current year with previous year using parallel period. The first argument supposed to be your date tables, date column, and second argument is your. So in this case, you want to compare the previous month, right? But in this case, we want to compare the previous year. You have an option called year available. The third argument is year, month is available. And okay. And in this report, I want to compare the current year sales with the previous year sales. For example, 2012, this is the one. Along with this, the 2011 sales should get displayed. Okay. So hence, I need to use year. Here, I'm comparing year with year. 2012 to 2011, I'm going to compare. This is called your year on year. In the case of parallel period function, the first argument is your date column from your column date table. And the -1, what does it says? You can go back to the previous year. So we are telling the Power BI, hey, go back to the previous year. Okay, or the previous period. Go back to the previous period. Previous period in the sense month or year. You can go back to the previous period in terms of month, in terms of year also possible. Okay. So in this case, we are interested in, we want to compare the previous year. In this case, we are interested in previous month. We want to compare it side by side with the current month and current year. Parallel period by year. Parallel period by month. So this is the one, right? No, this is parallel period by year. Yeah. So I just click on it here. Did I select this one? No. Okay, I need to select this one. And then parallel period by year. Parallel period by month, it doesn't make any sense here. We don't compare the previous month sales with previous year sales, right? It doesn't make any sense. That's why it shows the wrong value. So I'm going to remove this one. Now I just move this up along with the sales. Look here, 2012, this is the sales. 2011, what is the sales? You can compare it side by side. Okay, and 30 lakh 43 in 1,000, that is the sales happened in 2013, and 2012 sales is this one, right? You can see this one. But here, why you are not able to say it? Because we started the business on 2011 only. Prior to that, we don't have the data. Hence, it is not displaying anything. Okay, I just copy paste this one because this is the correct syntax. Correct naming convention. Okay, but in this case, I've used in this case year, right? I've used the month here because here the report shows month, right? Month on month sales. So in this case, you need to use month here. In the place of year, you need to specify month. Supposing I want to compare the current year sales with the previous year and prior to the previous year sales, what can I do? Let me see how many of you can answer it. What can I do in this case? I want to compare 2002 year sales with the previous year sales 2011. That is possible with this measure. And I want to include one more measure. I want to create one more column wherein I want to see prior to 2011 what sales. Prior to 2000 nothing. But let's take this example. 2013 sales is this one. Prior to 2013, what is the sales? 23,73,000. Prior to this, 20,70,000. That is the one I want to display. That is also possible. So in that case, same command you need to copy paste it. But only thing is you need to specify -2. That is what I was expecting from you. Okay, parallel period prior to previous year. In this case, you need to specify -2. So go 2 years back. This says go 2 years back. Okay, and here go 2 years back period in terms of year. That's all. I just press enter. Because I'm going to compare the parallel period with same period. Okay, with the same, there is another function called same period. With that also, you can compare your current year sales with previous year sales. And here, this is the one, right? Previous, yeah, this is the one. I just select this visual and then the last one. And then I move this up close to this one. Am I getting it? When you see, but if you see here, right, the previous year sales, you can display it here along with the 2012. But prior, right? So, but when it comes to this column, prior to previous year. So prior to previous year, 2011, prior to that, we don't have any data because we started only on 2011. And if you see this record, current 2013 sales and 2012 sales, and then this one gives you 2011 sales. That's it, guys. Understood, right? The parallel period, the purpose of using -1, -2 also possible. For example, if I want to use, let's see if I can use, let me do one thing. I just, instead of using it here, and if I use 2 here, let's see what happens. Plus 2. What will happen? Plus 2. Here I change the thing, right? Plus 2. So what happens? Advancing the year. Along with the 2011, you compare 2013. Look here, and 12, 14. 38 lakh, 40, 57, right? So you can use negative values, you can use also positive value. In the case of parallel period, you can advance the year or month, and also you can go back, as many month as possible, okay, and as many years as possible. You can go back and you can go forward as many month and as many year as possible. You understood? Okay, for the sake of consistency, what I am going to do is I just use the -2 here. Very simple. If you remember, see, the same thing, if you want to do it in other programming language, you have to write lines and lines of code. It's very easier, right? Only thing is you need to remember this one, that's all. Fine. The next one is same period last year. Apart from parallel period, we have something else called same period last year, using which also you can, this is a month and year. Even with, so same period last year, and we have something called same period last year. Yeah, same period last year calendar date. Yeah, the same thing I've used it. I just, this is for the other batch I explained. That's why one is there. Now I'm going to create a new measure. But it still shows correct value here because we are using a different calendar table altogether. Okay, here this one is with this also you can compare with your current year sales with previous year sales. I just say something like this, some space I will leave it, so that it will consider a new measure. And if you compare the same period last year with the parallel period by year, right? So here we have used the -1 option here in this case, right? In this case, we have used the -1 here. But in the case of same period last year, we did not use any -1, -2 and all, right? So here what happens, the same output, we can see it here. But the difference is you cannot go backward. So you can go back 1 year only. For example, 2012, you can compare with 2011, and 2013 you can compare it with 2012 and 2014. But if you want to compare it with, let's 2 years back or 3 years back, current year sales, I want to compare it with 3 years back, or current year sales I want to compare with 4 years back. That is not possible with same period last year. It simply shows the previous year, the same previous year, what the sales, That's all. You cannot compare like this. So in this case, I have used -2 here. So I want to compare the 2014 sales with 2012 sales. 2 years back, I went and then I computed the sales and I printed it along with it. It is not possible with same period last year. Is it clear or not, guys? How many of you are not able to understand? If you're not able to understand, you just watch my video and practice it. Sometimes, you cannot, understand everything on the fly. Okay, the next one is date add. So there are three functions are available. One is parallel period, same period last year, and date add function is also available. Look here, in this case, what I did, I just select this one. Look here, date add, this is the one I used it here. And in this case, when you use that date add function, this is also similar to your parallel period. Okay, here the date column from your date table, you can go backward. So you can go as far back as possible. Okay, and you can go forward as possible. Okay, +1, +2 you can give, -1, -2 you can give, like parallel period. Okay, here also you can use year, month. Okay, that's all, right? But here you need to use the date add as part of your calculate. But the same thing we have done it in the case of this one also, parallel period, right? So in the parallel period also we use calculate function. We wrapped this function with calculate. And even in this case, the date add function, we wrap this date add function with calculate function. But only thing is the name is different. That's all. Okay. Then why they introduce date add function? If the date add functionality is similar to your parallel period, then why do we need to have a date add function? But with date add function, you can not only go back, 1 year, 1 year or 2 year. Okay, so year, month only it is possible with parallel period. You can go previous year back and prior to previous year or whatever the years that you want to go back, that is possible. Month also you can go back, but day and day level it gives, day, week level it gives. If you want to compare current day sales with the previous day sales, so in that case you need to specify day, right? You need to specify day here. So that is also possible with the date add function. That is the difference between parallel period and date add function. Now you understood the parallel period, same period, and date add. Can someone tell me what is the difference between these three? So I am going to unmute this. Let me see how many, so that we can make it more lively instead of me alone talking all the time. What is the difference between parallel period and date add and same period? The same period and parallel period. So with the same period last year, we can go 1 year back. By default, 1 year back only. You cannot go 2 year back or 3 year back. And 1 second, let me just go here and check same period. Yeah, here you have only same period last year is there, and you don't have same period last month is available. Okay, but you have something called previous month is available. You can compare current month sales with previous month. You remember in this case, I have used the parallel period function, but here instead of year, I have used month here. Okay, and you can try the previous month also here. But the problem with previous month and same period is you can compare the current year with current period with previous period only. That's all. For example, in this case, current year with previous year. That's it. We want to compare current year with previous year, prior to previous year. That is possible with parallel period and date add. The difference between parallel period and date add is, so you can go, you can go back. You can compare current year sales with the previous year and prior to previous year. Month also you can compare current year month with prior to previous month and all, you can compare it. But day-wise comparison, that is not possible with parallel period. Whereas with date add, that is possible. The simple thing is, right, instead of having multiple function, they could have introduced the day level also here itself, right? Probably we can send this to Microsoft. All these command, right, whatever the things, right, we can suggest them. Instead of having so many functions, it will be confusing it. What other difference here? Date add, look here. That's all right, more or less same. Then year, you can use year and month and day also you can use it. Whereas in the case of instead of date add, if you have parallel period, you can use only year and month here. You cannot use day. So why two different functions? Instead, they can have a single thing. Okay. Same period last year, date add and parallel period, both of them are more or less same. Whereas in the case of date add, you can compare till the day level, current day with previous day also you can compare it. I'm done with the time intelligence function. Now you learned about the cumulative total sales, everything. And for you all, one assignment is, for example, I have given the month, date, year, 3 slices are there. For example, in this case, we have used year, month, right? And quarter. You can drag and drop the quarter in another slide. Create 3 slicer. And one slice is for year, other slicer is for month, other slice is for quarter. Let me see how many if you can do that. Okay. And so in this case, in certain scenarios, we are planning to give spot award. So those of them can come give the answer upfront. You will get some spot award, and at least next day, at least if you can give and try it out, and you can get a spot award. Okay, like in offices they do it, right? Certain programs they do it the same. So year, month, quarter, create 3 slices. When I select the year, when the user select the year, irrespective of the year they select. For example, you can select, you can select 2011, you should be able to select 2012. For example, when he selects 2014, right, or any year which he selects, it should show the current year and prior to, say in total 3 years, data only should display in the visuals. For example, 2013, 12, 11. When I select 2013, these 3 years data only should get displayed here. And if the users select 2014, the previous, the last 3 years, including the current year, sales, that value should get displayed here. How this is the dynamic way of doing it. Dynamic time intelligence. How to implement dynamic functionality in the case of time intelligence function. If I select a quarter, let's say you have a quarter here. If I select any quarter, it should show, the last 3 months sales. If I select any month, last 3 months sales, including the current month, okay, it should show. How is it possible? So I taught you the selected value, how to use selected value. You can use the selected value function. Okay, and then you give it a try. Let me see how many of you are able to do it, complete it before tomorrow's session. Okay, so irrespective of the month I selected, year I selected, it should compute the last 3 years sales, including the current year. If I select 2013, okay, in this case, we hardly have 4 years. Take this data itself, you can put, or last 2 years sales. So if I select 2014, last 2 years. And if the user select 2012, last 2 years. If they select 2013, last 2 years, 2013 and 2012. So how do we make it? Okay, and also the quarter will get displayed along with it, or when the user select the quarter from the slicer instead of year, right? When they select the quarter, let's say they are selecting quarter 3 and quarter 2 to be dynamically displayed side by side. Okay, and also when the user select quarter 4 and quarter 3. So that one you try it out. Let me see how many of you can try it. This is one of the real-time scenario. My student joined with Zensor in the past. Sagar, you are there, right? Zensor. Sagar joined with. Sagar is there in this call? No, you dropped. Oh, okay, he said he cannot join. Okay. Sagar joined with Sensor, and my other student, she asked me that one. So after joining the company, right, the third year, fourth year, they gave this assignment. She was literally tensed, and she said, "Sir, I'm tense. Sir, I'm tense. Can you please help?" Right. So these are the real-time scenarios. If you prepare it now itself, once you get into a job, you can manage the show. Fine. So far we discussed about month to date, quarter to date, year to date, cumulative sales, and fiscal year to date, and same period last year, parallel period function, and also we discussed about date add function, and we compared and contrast all these functions, right? And okay, one more last thing is total YTD. The total YTD function, I have used it to total YTD, total month to MTD, total QTD. So an alternative to this, you can use the date add, right? So date, 1 second, let me just dates MTD, dates QTD, dates YTD. These three are doing the same functionality of your total YTD, but dates MTD, dates QTD, dates YTD. For example, if I click on this one, in this case, what happens is you need to use the dates YTD inside the calculate function. That's all. Okay, there is not much difference. Okay, so the dates YTD, the dates, and here, yeah, in this case, the sum of sales, yeah, dates YTD here. Okay, you need to use it here. And similarly, the quarter to date. The dates QTD, total YTD, dates YTD, total QTD, dates QTD, total MTD, dates MTD. All of them are doing the same thing, but only thing is the dates QTD, MTD functions and all, you can use it inside the calculate function. You cannot use it directly. But if you see here, the function is not supported for use in direct query mode. The dates add and dates YTD and total YTD. So Abhinaya, are you there? Abhinaya, she's the one asked on the last. Abhinaya, yes, you asked the right question. She asked this one, can we use all the DAX functions in the case of direct query mode? Not all the DAX functions. Look here, this function not supported for use in direct query mode when used in calculated columns or row level security. Okay. So in this case, it is a challenging one. Now the question is, sir, my source system is SQL Server. In that case, I cannot leverage this feature. Simply we are passing the values, right? In that case, there are some other alternatives are available. Probably, yeah, the next week when I cover SQL Server, I will explain that one. Okay, how do I overcome this limitation? And the interview, they'll ask you, which DAX functions? Can you tell me the DAX function that will not work in direct query mode? Where is Tulasi? She attended an interview. She did not join today, right? She should have joined today's session. So in the interview, they'll ask you this question. Which DAX function you cannot use it in direct query? You can tell the same thing now. Dates YTD, dates QTD, dates MTD, total YTD, total. If you say like this, 6 function, fat, they'll think, oh, good. This candidate is good. She really worked in the real-time scenario. Okay, fine. So we are done with the time intelligence functions. I'm